Utopia Must Fall is a great arcade shoot 'em up that throws you straight into the action. It's a pure bullet hell game that is centered around the last bastion of humanity under assault by an unknown endless alien invasion. There are no long-winded tutorials, no intrusive pop-ups, and no overcomplicated mechanics. Just some fast-paced upgrades, short levels, and difficulty that ramps up in a way that makes you want to jump right back in each and every time. With unlockable build paths and special modifiers to power up, the game gives you just enough of an edge to keep the fight going. For a game that doesn't offer much in terms of visuals, Utopia Must Fall is surprisingly calm and relaxing. There's something satisfying about sitting back and taking in the subtle details, the explosions of each nuke, the effects, and the sharp sound design. It's not trying to be overly flashy, but it works. And despite the simplicity, it's surprisingly hard to pull away from it once you're in the zone. It's got this really tense futuristic Utopia gone wrong vibe that feels eerie in all the right ways. It's really hard to put it into words. It's just well designed and complements the atmosphere perfectly, enhancing the sense of unease without being overbearing. What I love about Utopia Must Fall is that it gets straight to the point. The moment that you load it up, you're thrown right into the action. Again, there are no tutorials and no hand-holding. Just like arcade games, you learn by playing. With a variety of upgrades, drones, towers, shields, and nukes, you will slowly start to understand how you can shape your own build. It's all about figuring out how to balance offense and defense, modifying your drones and towers to function a certain way, and to sacrifice one thing for the other, and then to experiment with new effects as you adapt to the game's difficulty curve. You control the city's defense system, and your goal is very simple. Survive the day to unlock more modifiers by stopping the asteroids, falling enemies, projectiles, and explosions from reaching the metropolis that you are protecting. It is a brutally difficult game that feels deliberately stacked against a player, and that's kind of what is part of the appeal. It creates this sense of constant pressure, a sense of failure and challenge that keeps you coming back for one more try, even if you know for a fact that you will not succeed. While I did enjoy the game for its simple design and genuinely fun mechanics, even if there isn't much to look at visually, the one issue that struck me was its slow, linear build-up, specifically more with the recent versions of the game compared to how it was designed originally. By the time you hit week 2, the upgrade path becomes rigid and overly confusing, while the gameplay steadily becomes unbalanced. You'll eventually start to recognize which choices to skip or prioritize just to survive, and it quickly narrows down your options to just a few. It's not trying to be overly demanding, but it does get frustrating past the first few stages. I truly believe that the game would benefit from a revisit to Branch 666 and its basics, evolving the core mechanics in a less confusing way, adding more upgrades, diversity, and shaking up the formula, because the balancing in this current version was so much better. As it stands, you'll likely find yourself running into the same builds over and over just to barely stay alive, while also struggling as you become overwhelmed no matter what you do. This is what makes it hard to recommend, even though I originally really loved the concept. It's clear that the developers do care about the game. With each update, it's responding to players' feedback, and if you're not happy with the current direction that the game is going, you can always load up the beta legacy mode. It's not immediately obvious how to access it, and the future could definitely be communicated more clearly, but it's a thoughtful inclusion, especially for those who prefer the original gameplay style. The problem isn't that the game changed, but that it changed too much and too often, as the constant unnecessary tweaks have muddled its performance over the past year. Sometimes a game doesn't need more designs. Keeping things plain and simple can go a long way. And because it's still in early access, there's still a lot more time to make the right changes that can bring out its full potential with the full release. So why not give it a try? If the latest update isn't for you, you're not forced to walk away, because you can still return to what made the original version so fun. So whether you're into arcade shoot 'em ups, bullet hell gameplay, or you just want a solid challenge to sink a few hours into, Utopia Must Fall is a great choice to pick up whenever you've got the time.